I am using medium worsted weight cotton yarn for this project because cotton yarn does not stretch as much as your wool or acrylic yarns. Alright, so the instruction says to chain 141. What I am going to do for this pattern is I'm going to put some stitch markers in my chain as I go. It will help for the second row. So to get started, this is how I do my slip knot. You can do it whatever way you've been taught. I pull my yarn up, rotate 180 degrees, catch the loop, and draw it through. Now on mine, I count my slip knot as a stitch. If you pull your knot tight, do not count it as a stitch. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can pause the video and catch up when you get to your 30th chain. 30. Okay. Then you get a stitch marker or use a contrasting color yarn and mark your 30th stitch. Just like that. Now this is optional to mark your stitches, but it'll be better than trying to count them later. Okay, and now we're going to chain 80 more. 1, 2, 3. Pause it when you get close to your 80th, and we'll pick up from there. 76, 77, 78, 79, 80. Okay, so my 80 plus my 31 is 110 stitches. I'm going to mark 80th. Okay, now I need 31 more. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pause the video and catch up when you get to 31. Okay, I did my 31 more chains. Your total chain number should now be 141. Alright, so let's go on to row 2. Row 1, they actually call it row 1. Single crochet and second chain from hook and the next 29 chains. So we're going to make 30 single crochets, so that's why we have the marker. So we stitch in all the chains including the marker. So let's count them as we go. To make a single crochet, let's zoom this in a little bit. Insert your hook under the loop, draw up a loop, yarn over, draw through 2. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, do this until you have 30 single crochet in your chain, and you should be in at the stitch marker when you finish. So I'm going to pause this, and when I get up close to my 30th single crochet, I'll resume. In the meantime, you make your stitches as well. I've made my 30 single crochet and ended up the stitch before my marker, and that's how it's supposed to be. Okay, then now what we have to do is chain 80. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, pause the video and make your 80 chains. Okay, now that we've made the 80 chains, what we need to do is make sure it's not neither chain below or above are twisted. So you want to take your fingers along them and make sure they lay flat. So that the V's lay on top and that the bumps are on the bottom. Now if you're a beginner, your chain may become twisted and kind of bumpy. all that's going to do is take a little bit of practice to get them even. And this, once you get them even, this is a real simple pattern to do. Okay. Okay, there. That one's flat and that one's flat. Okay, now we got our 80. The next step is single crochet in the 30th chain from the beginning. Well, we marked our 30th chain, so that is the chain we need to single crochet into. So you can just go right in next to the marker and make your single crochet. 1, 2, 3, and single crochet all the way across. Until you get into the last chain. So, and you should have 30 single crochet when you get to the end. I'm going to pause it here, and when I get to the end I'll pick it up. You can pause and catch up as well. Okay, I'm single crocheting in that last chain, and we're going to end this off just a chain 1 and cut your string so that about 3 inches are there. Pull the loop through, pull the tail through that like that, and you'll have this little knot here, and then you want to pull this beginning one tight as well. And then you're going to take your yarn needle and you're going to draw your yarn up underneath these stitches. It's like this. Thread my yarn needle, and I like to go in from the back, it's easier to see. I just draw it up underneath there. I go under about 8, 10 single crochets. Just like that. It fills my needle up pretty good. It looks like about 6 of them. That's close enough. Okay, and then you pull it through so that loop goes away. Tug it out, and then you take and you thread it back on to your needle, same thread, and you go over this top loop, this loop here, and through, so it wraps around a little bit, and then you go back under a couple stitches, not the whole length, and tug that out a little bit. And you clip your yarn close to the work. Discard that piece. And then you got to do it again for the other tail. And you're going to have, because this one ends on the same end, it's going to get a little bulky, but you can still draw it in and hide it pretty well. So another way you could do it is go in this way and wrap your needle I can get it in there through the chain like this. See, it's going the same, you're winding it the same way that the chain twists, and you pull that through and you pull it out so that it's straight, and then you take the end and you go back through underneath the single crochet stitches. So just go just like this, and you only need to do it 3 or 4 stitches when you go do your back again. That's just to help keep it from pulling out, and it just undid mine. Unthreaded my needle. Let's try that again. Go under 3 or 4 stitches. It starts to fray, fold it over and poke it through the eye that way. Okay, and then pull that through. Tug it so that the stitches look more even. And then cut it close to your work. Okay, now this is your 2-strand headband. And you can remove your markers. So you have these strings here for your tie, and this is the part that wraps around your head. And next we're going to make the bow. So I'm going to get my yarn, get all the things out of the background so it'll focus. Okay, and to make the bow, that's a different part of the pattern on that Blogspot channel, but she has links on it. And I have the link to the pattern, to her, yeah, to the patterns on her website. But on the beret with the bow, you skip the beret and you just go down to the pattern on the website that says bow, and you follow those instructions. And this is how you do it. You're going to make a slip knot. This is how I do it, and then you chain 20, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to pause it. You can make your 20 and pick it up again. So I made my 20 chains, and now it says half double crochet in 3rd chain from hook and in each chain across. So you yarn over your hook, insert your hook, draw up a loop, yarn over and draw through all 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, insert your hook under 1 loop, draw up a loop, yarn over and draw through all 3 loops on the hook. And you do this all the way across. I'm just going to keep doing this. You crochet along with me. If I'm going too fast for you, you can pause and catch up. Yarn over, insert the hook, draw up a loop, yarn over, draw through all 3. Okay. I am going to pause it and finish my row, and I will pick it back up. Okay, I've half double crocheted in each chain across. And on the way it's written, it calls the next row as row 1, so we'll call this one the foundation row, or 0. So for row 1 we're going to chain 2, and then we're going to turn our work around and half double crochet a next stitch in each across. So in this pattern, the chain 2 does not count as a stitch. So yarn over, insert your hook, draw up a loop, draw through all 3. Yarn over, insert your hook, draw up a loop, draw through all 3, and go across the whole row. And it says rows 2 through 7 repeat row 1. Continue half double crochet in each half double crochet across the row, and repeat this until you have 8 rows in all. So what you can do is, when you finish a row, you can just take a piece of paper and make a little tally, and that's how you can keep track, or when you're finished you can count your rows. So I am going to stop it here, and I will pick it up when I'm finishing that last row. Okay, pause, pause, pause. Okay, I've done all my rows. It's the base plus 7, so that's 8. And to count your rows for half double crochet is real easy, because you have the little twisted ridge that comes along the side of the stitches. So there's one on either side of that ridge. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I have 8 rows done. And you end this off the same way we did the band. And you weave in your tails the same way as well. So go ahead and weave in those tails and pause the video while you do that, and I shall return. Now your bow should look just like a little rectangle. Next part of the bow is the little strap that goes around the middle of it. So we're going to work on that. To do this, you're going to chain 8. Remember, you make your slip knot first, and then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then half double crochet and third chain from hook and each across. So let's 1, 2, 3, 4. So that makes 6 half double crochets. Okay, and in her instructions she doesn't say end it off, but that's what you do. So you just make a chain and pull up the loop tight. This time leave a little bit longer tail. We're going to use that tail for sewing. So maybe more like 10 inches to 12-inch tail. Okay, and for the shorter beginning tail, draw it in, and then I will come back and show you what to do next. Okay, now you should have these 2 pieces. So what you're going to do, the way I fold my bow is I'll fold it in half and fold the top down, and then turn it over and fold that one over. Okay, I'm going to take this piece here, and it's going to be a tight fit, but you wrap it around like this. So you put that in the middle and wrap it around, and you want to thread that last tail you left on the needle, and so catching it into that chain stitch at the beginning of the row, and go back and forth pulling it tight. And you only need 3 or 4 stitches. Okay, and then you can make a little knot here to hold your stitches. Okay, and I still am not cutting this tail yet because we still have to sew it onto the headband. Okay, so what you do is lay your headband out. And what you might want to do is put the headband on and determine where on this chain you want it. If you want it right in the middle of the top of your head, put it right in the middle of the chain. If you want off kilter a little bit, then do it that way. You can try it on your head to position the bow. What I am going to do is I'm going to fold it in half, and this is the middle top. Well, I don't want it in the middle of the top. I want it off slightly from the top, so then I'm going to just go a few stitches from the center and go like this. Then I'm going to take my bow and my needle and thread, and I am not going to go through the chains on here. I'm going to circle around it, and I'm going to make it fairly tight but not too tight. And if you do it so that it's just slightly loose enough, you might be able to slide the bow down the chain to position it. And I'm just going to maybe take 3 or 4 big stitches, and then I am going to knot. Okay, I didn't leave enough yarn there to make the knot, so I'm going to have to do a little with my fingers. Okay, and knot it up. Then just take the eye of your needle and draw that tail back up through the middle of that knot. And that'll hide that tail, and clip off the ends, the fuzzy. Okay. And there you have your bow on a 2-strand headband. It's going to be hard to see because my mannequin head is red and so is my bow. Let me back this out a little bit. Just take your ends and tie a square knot. Square knot, you want to have this tail in here, and you bring it over. That way if you need to take it out, you just pull one end and it'll slide off. And so here is the 2-strand headband with a bow. And you can separate your strands if you put it on your head, even it out a little. Tuck your hair in as you like. And voila! So happy crocheting!